This is the golden Bauhina thingy. Apparently it's the symbol of Hong Kong. Almost looks like fingers reaching up to the sky together, like two pairs of hands. There's the two star ferries, so I'll just keep walking over there if I can walk along this promenade. They must be building a breakwater here. I love to see things that work. That's got to be a full-time job. Great job security in this city. This looks like a factory site for whatever it is that they're building around here, although it may be the beginning of what they are building there. Looks like a couple of big pylons, maybe more that have been installed already. In fact, these may be what they put down in the water, suck the water out of, and then pour cement in for a basis for a building. There's something interesting about this pan with the gorgeous buildings in the background and this construction, this means for building more in the foreground. This looks like a device for driving pylons, and if you look behind it, there's a machine swinging that has one of those big flat shafts on it. A different kind of machine, but perhaps to do the same thing. It's a cute little design element to offset that huge building of square panels. What those long, thin pile driving shafts do is drive these pieces into the ground. Then they interlock. Notice this pedestrian stairway leading to the pedestrian plaza is wired for sound once all the sound of construction stops. Second, you'll see a couple of hawks. I think it's quite clever how the architect has added relatively subtle detail to this wall of square mirrored glass to create novelty and interest, as well as that whole back section to the left there that is of clear glass. This pretty park in the midst of these huge buildings. I wonder how many humans occupy these buildings at any one time. The use of these huge elevated pedestrian walkways is novel. Isn't that the symbol of a winning game of tic-tac-toe? Imagine the engineering and the energy and material that it took to build this spit of land. Wonder what will go in there. Something huge for sure. Rival those buildings perhaps? Don't know if you can make it out, but there are two reindeer there, and the upper part may be snowflakes. This apparently is what's planned for this area, and it will continue to have that waterfront esplanade. So what I have to do with great circumlocution today will be easily done later on. There's the Star Ferry Pier that I'm trying to get to. Taking me quite a little ways to get from the convention center to where I'm standing now. A little closer look at the work. There's the long elevated walkway I need to get to. For some reason didn't notice that in the background there's another building with a similar design, if not the same. I now realize there's two of those buildings. I wonder if those designs have any interrelationship in the architect's mind. There, the top of another building that looks interesting once you can see it from this side. I'm just going to pan around, pick up these buildings close to the ferry place. That one's still being worked on, I think. Unless that scaffolding look is part of the building. I don't think so. Now I have to lift the camera quite a ways to get to the top of this one, and then back down. And over there, my elevated pathway. It's somehow reminiscent of the pelvic area. And from here it looks like they're identical, or almost identical. Maybe one is on the right is slightly larger than the one on the left. Almost looks like three generations of, or three eras of construction. This older building here with the faux columns and so forth. The older structures around it. In the back you can begin to see that tower there and another matching tower, I guess over there, but then brand new buildings here. Since the computer center doesn't open until 8 or 11 apparently, even though I was there at 8, I'm down the next metro station, Prince Edward, to go to the flower shop and bird aviary. You know we must be getting close. We're down in the flower market section. All of these probably prepared during the night, shipped in from who knows where. Most bees are already at work. is the name of the bird aviary, so we'll go down here and hopefully find it. This whole block to my left is, I'm sure, all flower shops, including maybe the area inside of the block I haven't seen yet. Your own little bonesides. My guess is that these men standing around looking at these bird cages probably are gauging which birds sing, which don't, and other attributes of the birds, but it looks like a semi-professional gathering. Owners have the right to put their cages up here and wait for somebody to offer on them. Probably as close as most of us will get to some of these birds, if they're in fact wild birds, like this pretty orange-throated bird. It seems most appropriate that way down there is the flower shop, and right next to it is this bird gallery. Somehow there seems an irony to this sign right here, where you buy various kinds of bird seeds to get your birds excited enough to sing. But imagine how both flowers and birds add a lovely dimension to anyone's home or apartment, more likely in Hong Kong. Grasshoppers, either to add to the garden or for food for the birds. Gazillions of grasshoppers. Worms or grubs of some sort. These look like small versions of a meadow lark. These look like, yeah, they are crickets. Imagine if you have an outdoor garden, which you can do in Hong Kong easily enough. These cages could be outside as well as birds inside. An array of cages. Now, who would want to listen to this noise all the time? So here we are at the other end. It is kind of a stretch to call this a bird garden. In fact, it's a bird market. But with a city whose density of apartments way overwhelmed anything we would call houses, birds and flowers are definite additions. What a pretty aqua blue parakeet. There's a benefit to being nondescript and uninteresting. This looks like an American titmouse. He does not enjoy being in there. A pretty little water feeding flask. But I wonder what that little device with a ball is designed to do, other than to keep the bird from getting its head caught inside that little bowl. How'd you like that, Polly? You're a gathering of aficionados. Cages like this one look like they're a mixture of wood and maybe wire, but perhaps beautifully done.
舊杯洗啫嘛，哦，攞靚攞嚟。
Here, a fully outfitted bird cage, almost not enough room for the bird. This bird, if I'm correct, seen all over in the wild, in China and here.